Hi, I'm Katie, and this is the 22nd episode of Ornamentations, which is going to be quite a grab bag of finishes, embellishments, whips, haul, and news, as well as my 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So stay tuned for that. There are a ton of new subscribers. Thank you for joining me, and also thank you to my returning subscribers. I'm so thankful that you spend your stitchy time with me. If you are new to my channel, this is where I chronicle all of my stitching adventures, which are pretty varied. I do a lot of cross stitch and counted work, but also surface embroidery, sewing, crafts, miniatures, as we saw in the last episode, and my general interest in textiles and textile history. And today's episode will be a little bit of everything. I would like to thank everybody who bought kits. The Rabbit in the Rose was an astonishing success. I'm so thankful, and truly you all are wonderful. You completely blew me away. And to everyone who pre-ordered, I am working on getting those out to you. All the orders for materials are in, and as soon as I receive everything, I will get that packed and shipped to you stat. So thank you for your orders, thank you for your patience, and I will get that to you as soon as I possibly can. The success of the Rabbit and the Rose does have me thinking about the next Flosstube kit, which I think will be a little bit of Christmas in July. I've picked the pattern, but we'll be talking about that in another Flosstube episode a little bit closer to Christmas in July. On that note, there are mailing lists now active on my website, as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, and there are two, so that you can get only the news that you're interested in and not a bunch of spam. So the first mailing list is for Katie Strachan Artisan Embroidery, and it is really about my surface embroidery and classes and projects related to that. The first launch for Katie Strachan Artisan Embroidery is actually going to be on the next episode. This is something that has been in the works for a very long time, and that I'm incredibly excited to share with you. And then the second mailing list is Ornamentations, which is about Flosstube and Flosstube kits. So if you want to be the first to hear about the launch of the next kit, which I think will be in July, and then sign up for the Ornamentations mailing list, or both, or neither, you're welcome on my Flosstube, whether you're interested in any of that or not. We have lots of stitchy chat. So a couple of other news items. The Simple Harmony box is going to be on display at the attic through the Bristol Sampler weekend, but after that it's coming home. So, and I'll be showing it on my own Flosstube again. So if you are going to be at the Bristol Sampler weekend, lucky you. I wish I were going, but that will be the last chance to see it at the attic, because then it will be returning to me. And also on the Simple Harmony box, the third prize for the third finish of a Simple Harmony box is still up for grabs, and that is this set of antique needlework tools and a lovely carved mother of pearl thread winder. I'm really excited to see who's going to claim the third prize. And then my other object currently on public display is my beaded basket, which is on exhibit at the San Francisco School of Needlework and Design, with the wonderful work of Debbie Atelier. That was supposed to come down on May 21st, but has been extended until the end of June. So you've got a few more weeks to see the basket if you're in the Bay Area and you haven't had a chance yet. After it is returned to me, I will be showing it here, because it's a really exciting finish. It's something I'm incredibly proud of, and I can't wait to share it with you all. But with that, we'll get to my finishes, and I will start with my embellishments. So this is the embellishment of Spring, which I showed you on the last episode, and it was the subject of my just up tutorial on beaded looped edging, as inspired by Brenda Sampler Stitcher. Why can't I ever say that? Finish of Hath's Annie Morris. The beaded edging was done by her professional finisher, Joy. I loved it, and so I have been doing a smaller, more delicate version with these 2mm crystals. If you're interested in this technique, it's really, really easy. Watch the tutorial. All you need is the materials and needle, and you too can have these lovely, sparkly, delicate edgings, which I think really add to a very simple pillow finish. They kind of elevate it into something just a little more sparkly, more delicate, more detailed. And I love this so much actually that I seem to be doing it on everything. And I am thinking of doing this in a different color for the next Flosstube kit, which will be a Christmas stitch for Christmas in July. Would you be interested in the option, so it wouldn't be required for all of the kits, but an option as an add-on for a finishing kit that would include all of the beads needed to do a beaded looped edging on that particular piece, thread and needle? If that is of interest to you as an add-on to the next Flosstube kit, which again will be Christmas in July, then let me know in the comments below, because if there would be interest in that, then I need to get on ordering the beads so that I can offer that with the kit. But here's one more look at spring, which I just love. I think this color, which is crystal golden shadow, is just perfect with these linens, either Legacy Linen Brewer's Malt or Legacy Linen Fuller's Teazel. The color complements but also adds to the finish, so I'm all about it, and I hope you like it as well. And then my next finish, which is finished but isn't a final finish, is Brenda Gervais Christmas Tea. So this is her pattern. I have left off this little border here. I didn't think it needed it, and finished it into a simple pillow finish. So I love this stitching. I think the kind of restrained colors turned out really well, because then the red really pops, as I said on the last episode. But I had two oops with the finishing here. The first is that this side seam is slanted. I think the ruler must have slipped when I was drawing in the cut line. That's not a mistake I make very often. So that kind of influenced my finishing decision here, which is that I wanted this like elaborate, it was supposed to go up, double bow in a silk ribbon, green to complement the leaves, and I didn't have a silk ribbon with enough body, but I did have one that was the right color. So I tried that, and it's just floppy, and you can't really see that it's a double bow, and it just looks like kind of a loopy mess on one edge of my finish. So this didn't really quite turn out like my mental picture had envisioned. Basically, this ribbon is way too thin. It's so thin that it actually has shredded. I don't know if you can see that. There's a shred line right down the middle from where it was looped on the paper card it was sold on. It's a Dinky Dice. So to do a double bow that actually stood up, you would need at least single or double face silk ribbon that actually had some body to it. But I haven't had a chance to get up to Bright Decks. I had the right color in my stash. I tried it out. Not really what I was picturing, but that's okay. I'll cut it off and try it again once I have the right materials. Sometimes you can make the wrong materials work. This just wasn't one of those instances, but no harm, no foul. I'll just clip the little tacking stitches and try again once I have the right materials. So we'll be revisiting this once I do have my loopy double bow. And then these are my threads, which are all over the place, and I will be listing these in the description. So you're seeing three reds here because I've used Soie Surfine and Accentuate for the berries. And this doesn't show up on camera at all. It's so frustrating. But in person, they are wonderfully sparkly. So if you're willing to take a leap of faith that this is an effect worth trying and you will actually be able to see it, do get the Surfine and the Accentuate listed in the full thread conversion, or you can stick with the Gobelins 945, which is just the red silk Gobelins that is used on Mr. and Mrs. Santa Mouse. It's still a beautiful red, it just doesn't have the sparkle. So I'll list the conversion in the description, and then at some point we'll be revisiting Christmas tea once I've embellished the finish to my satisfaction. And then I moved from Christmas tea onto Blueskin by Plum Street Samplers. And I have quite a lot of progress. I'm actually really pleased with this. This is on Legacy Linen 38 count Vermeer blue. So I've worked most of the tree. I need to take the trunk up and then put in the cherries, add the second row of leaves. And then obviously I do not have the front end of Blueskin, only his rump, which looks a little weird, but you know, I was just kind of working as made sense to me across the chart, and sometimes that does mean the whip looks a little odd. I've made a few adjustments here. So I had originally not filled in the basket. You're just seeing the ground fabric there. They're supposed to be tan because I wanted to go out to Needle in a Haystack and add to my collection of tans before I made a decision on which one to use here. But as I've just been looking at this, as I've been working it, I actually like how that kind of makes the basket more graphic and defined. So I don't think I'm gonna fill that in. I like it the way it is. And then I haven't made a decision yet on the flags. As you can see, I've done the blue, I've done the white stripes, but I haven't decided on the other stripes because on the original, she's done two different things here with the saddle blanket and with the flags. So the flag has red stripes. The saddle blanket has faded gray stripes. So I don't want to do both. I want to do one or the other, and I'm kind of leaning towards the faded look because then it puts all the kind of design emphasis on the cherries and makes that red element really pop. And then I think also because of how the cherries interact with the branches, it also emphasizes the wonderful sense of movement you get with this design, with the branches flowing across the piece and drawing your eye. And I think that would kind of add to what I like most about this design. So that's what I'm leaning towards, but tell me in the comments what you would do and why, because also the reasoning is just as interesting as what do you think? Why would you pick either red or the faded gray? And then one other adjustment I've made here is that I have widened the trunk. So it's 3 stitches across on the original. And to me, that looks kind of toothpicky twiggy as a tree trunk. So I widened it to 5 stitches across. And I think that really works. If you got it too thick, then it would be dominating the design because the trunk is very dark. And it would just be a bold element that's drawing your eye as opposed to the movement of the design, which is what you want to be looking at. But I think the slightly thicker trunk better frames the design, and that this is going to look really nice. Did have an oops with the tree. I found out about this last night, so I worked the last leaf up from the branch and found that I'm 1 stitch off on the branch. I went back over the chart and I can't find my mistake. I'm not sure if it's this branch or if the mistake is here. So I didn't want to frog it because I don't know what the mistake is or where it is, and it's also close enough that I'm sure I can compensate for it. So my plan is to just take the branch up 1 stitch, and then I had to reduce the size of this leaf because otherwise it was going to run right into the lower branch. And I was wondering if that might stick out because every other leaf on this piece is the exact same. But as you look at it, no, it doesn't jump out at you as a sore thumb. So I think that's a good way to correct the error, which is fortunate because I still don't know where I miscounted 1 stitch. I have looked at the chart multiple times and I am still lost as to where I went wrong. So really compensating for the mistake was the only viable choice that I had here. So I'm hoping by next time I will have a finish of Blueskin to show you, and I'm really pleased. I think it's turning out beautifully, and I love the ground, which is like Zealand and Vermeer blue. I think I said that. It's not quite as purple, but it works so well. It should. I mean, I picked the colors to go with the ground, and these are my colors. So I've got a tube of beads here in at the bottom because I was thinking they might be great in place of the French knots for the cherry blossoms. I actually love doing French knots, but I also love sparkle. I really love these particular beads, and I think they'd be a nice accent to Blueskin. I do reserve the right to change my mind, but for now, that's what I'm thinking. And then the conversion itself, which will be in the description, is a mix of Gobelins, Paris, and 103. About that. And the coming specialty thread tutorial, which is in fact coming. I've started the outline. No, sorry, I haven't started the outline. I've finished the outline and I have started filming. I am hoping to get that up next week, but this one's going to be an absolute bear in terms of editing, so fingers crossed. I really hope I have that for you next week, but that might not happen. We'll see. But one of the questions I'm asked most frequently about specialty threads is, how do I come up with these mixed conversions, in the sense of, why do I have Gobelins in one spot and 103 for the leaves and Paris for the cherries? So what I did was I filmed my process on Blueskin, where I laid out the ground fabric, the design, my choices, and I walked you through why and how I ended up with all of these threads. And I hope that that will prove useful to you and help you make your own choices, because these threads are usually 50-meter spools, which means that you're always going to have a lot of extra, whether you're buying from Needle and Haystack or you're buying a Flosstube kit from me. You'll have more than you'll need, and you'll start building a silk stash. And hopefully the specialty thread tutorial will help you in using your thread stash and make you a success. Okay, sorry, this is going to be a bit of an awkward transition because the battery light was blinking red at me and I had to stop and charge before it cut me off. But I believe I was at Blueskin. And so I have a few decisions to make on this, namely the flag, and I'd like your feedback on that. And I have to finish the tree and fill out this side, but I am hoping to have a finish before the next episode of the stitching, at least, if not the finishing of the object. And then I am also really hoping to have the specialty tutorial finished, edited, and up for you. But that'll be a heavy lift, so we'll see. I am really working on it. And then that brings me to my last finish for this week, which is the project bag made from my pajamas that I showed you last episode as a home for my beaded fob, Herman the Hedgehog. It turned out actually really well. I'm showing you Herman again just because I love him. But the project bag, I think, was really great for a first attempt. It did end up a little more narrow. I was bad at cutting. I used Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch's project bag tutorial, which is excellent, very clear, very easy to follow. I had no problems with that or with the stitching. But I'm a sewer. I grew up using pins and tailor's shears, and I learned on my project bag that I am absolute crap at rotary cutting. I mean, I can't do it. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I cannot use a rotary cutter to save my life. And the thing about me, which anyone who knows me can tell you, I'm really stubborn. I am stubborn to the point of stupidity. A smarter person would have given up with the rotary cutter and just used shears, which I know how to use and I'm very good with. And like, I could have cut this thing out with shears in a fraction of the time, but I refused to let the rotary cutter beat me. The rotary cutter was not going to win. I think the rotary cutter did actually win in the end, but I refused to give in. So I had to keep on cutting inwards because my cuts were angled, they were wrong, I was jumping the ruler, so the project bag didn't really have the dimensions I had originally planned on. But it does actually still fit a small pattern. So I did battle with the rotary cutter and I sort of won. If you know how to use a rotary cutter and you can tell me what on earth I am doing wrong with it, please share. I need help. I need remedial rotary cutting is what I need. Actually, probably I'm just going to use shears in the future because I can't use a rotary cutter. I just can't. It's not possible. So, project bag. I'm happy. Not happy with the rotary cutter, but that's a separate subject that I've gone on long enough about. And I would actually like to make some more cut out with shears because I was watching Susan Stanley this weekend, and if you haven't watched her, you really should. It was great. And she talked a little bit about William Morris's Strawberry Thief print, which is a beautiful print, but it got me thinking about my own favorite William Morris print, which is Loddon, specifically in the green colorway, although it does have other colors in it. True to William Morris, it's got blue, it's got teal, it's got yellow, but the colorway is called green, and it's such a wonderfully detailed, rich print. It is my absolute favorite. And I'd like to make a pattern, a project bag out of the extra yardage I have. I do also currently have a pair of pajamas, not worn through, so not getting cut up in this specific fabric. You know, if you wanted to make those again, like for my birthday, and then I could wear Loddon all the time, that would be great. I'm sure the rest of you really wanted to know that, but sorry. I really do love this print. I think it's exceptional, and I love, love, love the colors and the way they work together. But that also brings me to another point Susan raised on her Flosstube, which is William Morris's daughter, May. She was a designer and an embroiderer and a textile artist, and she is often overlooked in favor of her more famous father. But she was an exceptional, exceptional artist in her own right, an incredibly skilled embroiderer. And the V&A did a wonderful publication on her. It's called May Morris, Arts and Crafts Designer. This is one of her pieces here on the front. Look at that. I mean, I think she had a lot of skills, technical skills among them. Her embroidery is technically just virtuoso work, but her understanding of color, I think, is my favorite thing about her work. So she was really primarily a commercial designer. Oh, and now I've lost my place in the book. So she did designs for the embroidery studio for William Morris, which she ran, and they did kits, they did printed designs, and then you could also commission them to stitch pieces for your home. But she also sometimes did private embroideries like this piece, which I think might be my favorite from the book. It's called Minstrel with Symbols, and it's actually quite small. So you're seeing very tiny stitches and very, very fine thread. And this is the full panel, but what is so exceptional about it are the details, which are revealed in a close-up here. So she's got all these wonderful colors brought into the leaves, but I mean, look at that hair. It is Botticelli in thread. But my favorite thing is the detail on this sleeve. Look at that. So the dress is pink picked out with red, but she's brought in blue and green and shaded it so expertly that it just gives depth and richness and texture to the folds. And I can tell you, I could live 1,000 years and never have come up with something like this. This is just unbelievable, unbelievable work. The subtleties in both her technical stitching and her use of color is just amazing. So, you know, William Morris is justly very, very famous. His work is exceptional, but Mae Morris is too often overlooked because of how famous her father is. And so if you have any interest in textile history, in the arts and crafts movement, if your name is Susan Stanley and you don't already own this book, you should really get Mae Morris, Arts and Crafts Designer. It's a beautiful book, beautifully printed, gorgeous full color photos, but it's also, what's in it is truly exceptional. She was such an amazing talent, and there's so much to learn from her work. But that brings me to the topic of color and indirectly haul. So as I told you in the last episode, when I was doing the house on spring, I realized I was a little weak on tans. So I did in fact make it out to needle in a haystack to remedy that, and oh, I went a little overboard. So tans I actually didn't go overboard on. These are 4 colors of 103 that I purchased to round out a weak point in my stash, because so when I do my conversions, I'm usually just pulling from what I already own, and then if when I come across a chart I don't have what I need, I'll fill it out there, and if I identify a weak spot, I'll try and fill it out. But that's how I use my silk threads. So these are going to go into stash. One of these will be picked out to fill out the Blueskin conversion. I think it's going to be this one, 562, which will work beautifully with the other colors I've got here. But so I got some tans, and then I was thinking about my 2,000 subscriber giveaway, because that really snuck up on me. I wasn't even looking at that, and then Jean Lee of the Attic was kind enough to feature the Simple Harmony box on her Flosstube, and then Brenda and Laura gave me that wonderfully kind mention, and woo! And I did really want to celebrate that with a giveaway, a special giveaway for you all, because I am very grateful that you watch me, that you subscribe to my channel, that you comment, you like the videos. It's great. So I had an idea, and I'll reveal the giveaway in a second, but it also took me down a little bit of a rabbit hole in terms of my own stash. I was thinking pink, and I went a little nuts. These are the pinks I bought for myself. So I've got a mix here of Gobelins, Paris 103, and Trebizond, and kind of blue pinks, moving into purples, moving into these like purpley red, luscious colors. And yeah, this is a little crazy, because especially like purple is a color I almost never use, but oh, look at those colors. Aren't they luscious? And, you know, I was going through the trays looking for the right threads for my giveaway, and then had to get some of these luscious things for myself. It's always good to have lots of choices in your stash so that you can have what you need when you need it. But, you know, that's another topic, and yeah, I did go a little overboard, but I don't regret it, because these are all gorgeous colors that I will just love. And some of these will be used, Trebizond in particular, for my Marie Antoinette project, which brings me to my giveaway. So if you're new to my channel, in a few past episodes, which I believe were Stitchy Plans 11 or 12, and A Feast of Finishes, which was episode 15, I talked about my Marie Antoinette inspired sewing box. So the idea was a lovely stay-at-home sewing box with little gorgeous smalls in kind of a Marie Antoinette colorway, meaning the film by Sofia Coppola, and the bright, lovely colors in it, and making smalls and finding a box for that. And the project has kind of dropped because I've been so busy with everything else, but I haven't forgotten about it. I do still have my box. I haven't done a thing about ripping out the interior and putting a better interior in here. I really do have to get to Britex. And then these are the smalls that I have for it so far. So full descriptions on these are in the previously referenced episodes, and I'll link them in the description as well. So these are kind of the colors that I'm using. And then to tie into the ongoing series I have here on Flosstube, my giveaway for 2,000 subscribers is a Marie Antoinette pack. So this is a book. This is actually my own copy. The one I've ordered is still on the way. And it's called The Private Realm of Marie Antoinette. And it looks at all of her private spaces, her personal boudoirs at Versailles, at Fontainebleau, her hermit, her hameau, the Petit Trianon, all her little jewel-like private spaces are featured in this book. And this is actually a 21st birthday gift to me. I've had it for many years, but I was able to find another copy, and that's the first item in the giveaway, the book, The Private Realm of Marie Antoinette, which features some truly beautiful jewel-like little spaces to complement my little box that I hope will be just like a little jewel of a sewing box. The second item is a Clover Sweet and Sharp Macaron, which is a needle sharpener in the raspberry colorway. And that is because it complements the real star of the giveaway, the third thing, which is the Marie Antoinette Silk Pack. This is Trebizond 103 and Soie Gobelins, and in a luscious range of colors. I mean, even if you never use these and you just sit and admire them, I think they're worth having. So these three items are my 2,000 subscriber giveaway, and if you would like to enter, use the word, I should have thought about this in advance. We've already done cake with all the Russian tea cake giveaways, so I think it's gonna be macaron is our giveaway word today. So if you would like to win the Marie Antoinette pack for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway, use the word macaron in your comment. I look forward to reading your responses, and I hope whoever wins this enjoys the luscious little treats as my thank you to you for watching my channel, for sticking with me, and for engaging with my Flosstube. I really am so grateful for all of you. So that's most of what I have for today, but my last thing is going to be a little off topic. This is a series I've really been enjoying, and which I'm sure a lot of you have already watched. I'm a little late to the party here. It's a BBC documentary series called Secrets of the Museum, and it looks at the conservation, exhibition, and display work at the Victoria and Albert. And it's incredible. You can watch it on YouTube. I binged the entire thing in a week, which comprises 3 seasons. So I've just been stitching at night and drooling at the screen because they show the conservation work of all these incredible objects across a really exceptional range of objects. So it's not just the obvious great works of art at the V&A, but textiles, and oh, there's a wonderful one on a children's toy, this little elephant. I'm not going to spoil the surprise if you haven't seen it, but it's amazing, and it features the diamond bodice ornament that inspired my own posy, which I've called the Victoria and Albert posy, and which I've shown you on previous episodes. So I have drooled for a long time over photos of the diamond original, and I thought I would be prepared to see it, but the video just, oh, it blew my mind. And connection to cross stitch here, other than just this is something I've really enjoyed and wanted to share, is so if you think about how well you will come to know a chart after you've stitched it. So I gave Blueskin a once over when I was starting so I could pick the colors. but I definitely know it much better stitching it, going through the chart. That's how the conservators come to know these works of art, and it's such a cool process to see. And I'm probably revealing myself as a huge nerd, but that's okay. I am a huge nerd. That's just accurate. So if you haven't seen Secrets of the Museum, it's wonderful. I loved it. I can't get enough of it. I'm actually really sad I'm through the whole thing and there are no more episodes for now. Eagerly awaiting the next season. Really want to go to the V&A now and drool over all the wonderful things I saw in the documentary. But so that's my little random off-topic moment. I was so excited about it, I had to share, and it's kind of on topic. They do feature a lot of textiles in the series. So that is really my floss tube for today. I hope you've enjoyed the range of objects. I hope you will enter the giveaway. Again, keyword is macaron. Use it in your comment. Check out the tutorial on beaded looped edging if you haven't already. It really is wonderfully simple and such an easy way to add a little bit of sparkle and fun to a finish. I highly recommend it. And then I will see you next time. Hopefully I'll have the specialty thread tutorial up before then. Look for it on my channel. I will post about it on Instagram. My handle is @KStrakenEmbroidery. And then for next time, excitement. That's all I'm gonna leave you with, excitement, because I have some things that I'm really excited to share with you, and I will be revealing the winner of the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope you'll be back next time, and until then, happy stitching.